What's up guys, my name is Slcmof and I'm back again with another video, and in this one we'll be talking about Telltale's Batman game, all the details that you need to know that we learned at E3, including the tentative release month of the game. We knew it was coming out in the summer, we have a little bit more information there, and also the details of the 30-minute gameplay demo that was shown privately to press. Unfortunately, none of us have seen any gameplay, however the press have seen some gameplay and they talk a little bit about what they saw, the details of the plot, and the first 30 minutes of episode 1 were on display for the press privately behind closed doors at E3, so that's really exciting. I'll be sharing the details of that as well. So before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you so much for supporting the Telltale Batman videos. I thoroughly enjoy making them, and you guys seem to enjoy them a lot as well. They're some of the best videos that I do in terms of, likes and sharing and that kind of thing, and just overall response. So I really enjoy making them, and I hope that you guys enjoy watching them as well, and thank you so much for all the support on them. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So Job Stoffer, who you would not know how to pronounce his name if you watched my last video, but I got it right this time. I'm pretty sure I got it right this time. Okay, so he talked a little bit about, in a kind of funny interview, and in another interview I saw with him, I believe it was on IGN, he talked about when we can expect the Batman series, and essentially he said that the game is going to be coming out in August. That's the tentative release schedule. Why do I say tentative? Well, Telltale games can get delayed, judging by the fact that they're on a rolling development cycle, in that episode 1, even though it premieres in a few months, is still not completely done yet. It still is going to have some polishing and some development in the latter half of the episode. I imagine most of the first 30 minutes are done, but that's kind of the way that Telltale games are developed, and that also allows them to be responsive to fan feedback. Job Stoffer also spoke about how he wants the community to be involved in the shaping of this game, and what we like, what we don't like, that kind of thing. So that's really a good thing as well, and a benefit of having this type of development cycle rather than developing all 5 before the first one comes out and then just releasing it. You're kind of stuck in terms of that kind of setup. So that's just the way that Telltale develops games. So nothing drastic is going to happen. The game's not going to get pushed back to 2017. However, there certainly is a possibility that as that deadline approaches for episode 1, the game could get pushed back a week. That happens to Telltale episodes in the past. It wouldn't be the first time. So in addition to learning that we will have our hands on Telltale's Batman game before returning back to school, we also learned a little bit about what we can expect with the game, when in Batman's career this game takes place, and who is involved. We also learned a little bit about the character list previously, so let's talk about the gameplay demo itself. We can basically divide it into 2 separate chunks. The game, episode 1, once we get our hands on it, actually starts with an action sequence where Batman is stopping a bank heist or a robbery or something of the sort, and Catwoman actually shows up and adds a little bit of fire to that flame, which is pretty intriguing if you ask me. So the second half of the demo is Bruce Wayne throwing a fundraiser for none other than a guy you may have heard of in the past, Harvey Dent. So immediately this may remind you of The Dark Knight, but indeed it is quite different because Carmine Falcone shows up and throws a wrench into the party there, and it pretty much all goes downhill from there. So let's talk about the first half of the demo. Again, it was 30 minutes long, so that's a pretty hefty demo, and that's pretty cool that they were willing to show that to the press. So let's talk about that opening scene where Batman is trying to stop a bank heist. There is some combat, and according to Greg Miller, who actually saw the gameplay, he said that he recognized that it was indeed a Telltale game. However, he noticed a little bit more fluidity in the gameplay, and this is due none other than, I can only imagine, the improvements to the engine that Telltale did for this game in particular. They've spoken about this in the past, that they actually did a little bit of rendition, a little bit of improving to their engine, and I think we're going to notice that in the fluidity and the gameplay and that kind of thing, and maybe even in the graphics a little bit as well. So that's going to be super exciting to see what impact that has on the game as a whole. Now, Job Stoffer added a little bit of details that we didn't get in any of the articles of people that actually saw the demo, and basically he mentioned a fight with Catwoman that occurs in the first episode of the game. And in this fight, this is how I always envisioned a Telltale Batman game would be like, and from what he's explaining, it's exactly what I've always wanted. The direction that they went with this game, I could not love more, and what they did is that they did Batman as kind of a younger lad. He's been Batman for a little bit. Again, this is not an origin story or anything like that. We're not roaming around in the desert learning from senseis or anything like that, okay? But Batman is Batman. He's got the Batmobile, he's got the Batcave, he's Batman. However, he's young in his career. Kind of think a little bit of Arkham Origins. He's kind of in that range of how long he's been Batman. So the GCPD doesn't necessarily trust him fully. He doesn't have all the connections that he does. He's probably only known Harvey Dent for a little bit now, maybe. He's just now getting to, build some bonds corresponds with the GCPD and the news, and Gotham as a whole does not really trust him. They don't trust Batman. They don't know if he's fighting for good, if he's fighting for evil. So the idea is that you as a player are constructing how Batman is kind of viewed by the media and by the Gotham people. So an example of this, in this fight with Catwoman, depending upon what you do and how you play out the fight, punch her over to here or go down there or go up here. Basically, the idea is this. If you go up to the rooftop, there are helicopters and security cameras watching the rooftop. So if you bring the fight up where people can see it, it is reported by the media. The media gives that news to the Gotham people. The Gotham people's perception of you changes, and maybe the headline the next morning is different depending upon how that fight with Catwoman plays out. That is freaking crazy. That is insane. And again, when I thought of a Telltale Batman game and the possibilities, things like that were exactly what I'm talking about, where everybody's Batman is different, and not only that everybody's Batman is different and the way that you play him, the way he's perceived by the Gotham people, but Bruce Wayne is different as well, because in this party, in this fundraiser, where Bruce Wayne is holding for Harvey Dent, he's running for mayor, Vicky Vale is also here. She sneaks into the event, we learned, and Carmine Falcone, the basic, just a jerk-off of a dude, comes in and crashes the party. And when he's there, Bruce Wayne, you hosting the party in Wayne Manor, have the opportunity to either shake his hand or not do so. And basically, if you don't do so, he kind of threatens you, basically. And this is live on television. The cameras are recording this. This affects the way that Gotham and everybody else perceives Bruce Wayne, who they're more familiar with than they are Batman. But the idea that, basically these perceptions, the duality of his personality and basically Batman and Bruce Wayne being two separate entities, they can be perceived totally differently by the Gotham news and by the Gotham people, all dependent upon how you act, which is really awesome. We also learned that Bruce Wayne's plan is to build a kind of improved Arkham Asylum, in fact to tear Arkham Asylum down and add a new state-of-the-art mental facility, because obviously Arkham Asylum just isn't working out, nor will it ever. So that's his plan. He reveals that in the gala as well, and apparently Bruce Wayne is going to question his heritage and his roots. And speaking to Carmine Falcone, my personal speculation as to how something like this could play out is Carmine Falcone, or Bruce Wayne, is kind of accusing Falcone of being a drug lord and running the streets and causing all this havoc, and then Falcone will maybe rebuke with something of saying the sorts, well, that's how your family got rich too. And I'm sure that there was, of course, foul play in the Wayne's acquisition of basically being the forefathers of Gotham. There can be only purely fair play in acquiring that sort of status and wealth. So he's going to be questioning his heritage, questioning his roots, and asking if I'm any better than these guys. And maybe he's going to be asking if I'm any better than the thugs that I'm fighting. That's a common theme in the Batman graphic novels and the Arkham games a little bit, and throughout some of the Batman movies as well, such as The Dark Knight. So that's all the details I have for you. A fight with Catwoman, an intentionally ambiguous screenshot of Batman and Catwoman together. Are they about to kiss? Are they about to fight? We learned as well at E3 that is intentionally ambiguous, and I definitely love the decision there, and most certainly, the possibilities of whether or not we are kind of in a Batman Hush type situation where we're more than friends with Catwoman will occur, or maybe we'll be enemies depending upon the choices that you make and the relationships that you build. That's really cool as well. So, I mean, this series is just shaping out to be great from what I've heard from the demo. I just can't wait to get my hands on it this August. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. That's all the details that we learned for Telltale's Batman at E3. If you have any other additional information that I missed, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. My name is Slcmof, and be sure to subscribe for your #1 source of all Telltale Batman news and information on YouTube. We'll see you in the next one.